The GAP report is stunning because in the Global Farmer Network, we talk about people telling their stories. The GAP report gives us a focus on where we've been, but I think you also really lay out where we can go as a world. And I think that's important, where the Global Farmer Network is very solutions-based, action-oriented. And so having GAP reports that are out there that have actual data, we don't ask the farmers to talk about any data other than what's the data on their farm, because that's their story. It's irrefutable because they know it. This is what's happening on their farm. The GAP report takes it from a global perspective. And so each one of these stories helps feel the background in what each one of those data points. Why did those data points look like that? Because this is what's happening on this farm at this time. So I think it's extremely important for laying out where we are as a world, also laying out where we can go or where we should go. And our farmer stories help fill those gaps and talk about what each one of those points means. One of the things, when we're talking about productivity growth, productivity for an Iowa farmer, what that growth might look like, what are the tools that are needed, is different than a Nigerian farmer. But both benefit from knowing the other's reality, because there's an unbelievable amount of shared information. I think as an Iowa farmer, you are better prepared to understand how the world works. We think about the challenges of government regulations, and we think about water use and some of these pieces. But I was talking earlier with, we've been in a drought condition in many parts of this country, and yet the productivity, as we're now in a harvest season, has been stunning. And that would have been looked tremendously different in the 1980s, even more different in the 1970s, both times when we had other significant droughts in the United States. That was the access to genetics. And so it clearly involved and improved the productivity. So we have farmers in other parts of the world who are also, certainly Argentina, Uruguay, South America, all across Europe, really significant drought challenges this year, just pulling that out. Productivity was hugely challenged. And what's interesting from GAP reports, and talk about the other things, are what are the technologies that they had available? What did they not have available? What does that gap look like, and how could it have been different? And I think that global knowledge, connecting back and forth, also helps then make the case for why innovative technology is such an important piece of the productivity story. As our global population continues to grow, it's predicted, we all know all the numbers, $9.5 to $10 billion by this, 10 billion people by this time. We have a lot of food to produce, and we're really good at it. But we also understand the importance of protecting the land that's there. And so it is vital that we become more productive, not just in Iowa, not just actually even in Nigeria, but on every single farm in this world. And that looks different for each one, but it is vital. And so it's the sharing of information, it's seeing how certain tools have actually improved productivity in other parts of the world. How can we take that, not copy and paste, but take the specific pieces of it, share that information in another space, and find them as well, because productivity will always be key to not just an economically sustainable world, but a resilient world, a sustainable world, and one that protects all the other pieces that we said we want to protect while still feeding everybody nutritiously.